I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to YAHAWAH, YAHAWASHI, Rakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders, great millstone, and SHALAWAM to the elect out there, doing this work of faith and labor of love, truth, sincerity. All right, now I want to get into a lesson, based upon the Hegalian Dialectic, okay? And, I know it seemed like a real fancy word, but all this is truly short for is problem, reaction, solution. All right. And I just want to get into the origins of this and, show different examples of how Esau uses this to control the world as we know it now, and this is the way how they truly believe within their minds that this is how the world is going to keep going. But of course, we know through the spirit of YAHAWAH, they are sadly mistaken. All right, so this whole theory of the Hegalian dialectic, all right, was set up by this man here, this Edomite, as you can see here, George Wilhelm Frederick Hegel. All right, so just read a little bit on this devil, okay? And in actuality, he actually got the thing about dialectics from Plato, from something else that I read, but he said that something about Plato's dialectic wasn't complete or wasn't whole. I'm roughly paraphrasing, but what he set up with this whole theory of his, this truly allowed Esau to rule the whole world, man, and for them to be able to apply this one theory to everything, and it works over and over and over again, man. It's just like you got somebody on the basketball court, and you keep shaking them with the same move, but they just keep falling for it, man. And hey, man, these devils, they something else, man. But to read a little bit on this devil, it says George Wilhelm Frederick Hegel, all right, during the late 1700s, early 1800s, was a German philosopher and an important figure of German idealism. He achieved wide recognition in his day, and while primarily influential with his continental tradition of philosophy, has become increasingly influential in the analytical tradition as well. Although Hegel remains a divisive figure, his canonical stature within Western philosophy is universally recognized. What in Western philosophy, this lets you know that everywhere, this whole Western society now is based upon this philosophy, man. And what we always speak about, Esau and their philosophies, and the wine that they make the other nation, that America makes the other nations to drink, man, and they all fall for it, So this is all a part of Western philosophy. The most important part of Western philosophy stems from this Hegelian dialectic, or problem, reaction, solution. All right. So, and just about him in general, this devil analyzed everything. Like how the scriptures say, he does a diligent search. Let me just grab that real quick. Matter of fact, they accomplished a diligent search. What's that? Psalms. Psalms 64 and 6. Matter of fact, let me start at verse 5. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privately. They say, who shall see them? They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. Okay? And this devil, he truly did a diligent search because he studied just about everything possible, history, the Bible, arts, everything. And he applied his mind to different theories in every field. And he saw that this one philosophy, the Hegelian, which is known as the Hegelian dialectic, otherwise problem, reaction, solution, works in every single situation, man, to their advantage, because it's all a scheme, man, that's what Esau studies. That's what he does things for, all to scheme. All right. So the word, let's just real quick get into the word dialectic so we can have a better understanding of this, okay? Dialectic or dialectics, also known as the dialectical method, is at base a discourse between two or more people holding different points of view about a subject but wishing to establish the truth through reasoned arguments. So what they always say, what there are two sides to a story, but the truth lies somewhere in the middle, right? So that's what they say. So this was his whole theory, basically, two people having opposing points of view, and you find some common ground in the middle to come to a truth, just as well as Esau, he spews out his lies and his bullshit. We spit out the complete truth, but through his bullshit, we able to dissect that and bring people to the complete forefront and knowing what things are, man, But dialectic resembles debate, but shorn of subjective elements such as emotional appeal. Because what? In any debate, emotions don't have anything to do with it, So it's letting go of all emotions, feelings, but getting down to the nitty gritty of opinions of certain matters, right? And the modern pejorative sense of rhetoric. All right, so yeah, matter of fact, let me read a little more. Just jump down a little bit. It says, within Hegelianism, dialectic acquires a specialized meaning of a contradiction of ideas that serves as the determining factor in their interaction, comprising three stages of development: a thesis, giving rise to its reaction; an antithesis, which contradicts or negates the thesis; and the tension between the two being resolved by means of a synthesis. All right, so that's to make it all short, right? That's why I had this chart up here, and to give an example. And also they have it here as well. This is this from JeremiahProject.com, and this is, it's got a series of videos also breaking it down as well, which Lord willing I'll put some of the clips up, for brothers to get even more of a better understanding with those clips of edification. All right, so this is understanding the Hegelian dialectic, problem, reaction, solution. They also have what other words for it. I remember Apostle Bar getting into it before as above, so below, ordo ab ko, and actually I pulled up and, I didn't even know. I thought that was just a saying, but this is like a whole booklet, a whole manual for the New World Order, order ab ko, order out of chaos. So how do you create order out of chaos? Because what they're creating these situations through the Hegelian dialectic or problem, reaction, solution to get order out of them. And it's what one idea contradicting the other. So Esau's a big walking ass contradiction, and he's a big ass hypocrite. And he's a true mastermind by doing this diligent search as he has done, man. And the Lord set him up nice within his rulership. But they better enjoy the last little legs of it, This is it's truly mind-boggling when you see how with one simple philosophy they truly control the world, man. And this, it's just crazy, right? So basically, the thesis. Let me start right here. It says, to better understand the New World Order strategy behind the crisis we experience, it is important you first understand problem, reaction, solution, or the Hegelian dialectic from the German philosopher George William Friedrich Hegel. It is stated by Heinrich Moritz Kalbos as comprising three dialectical stages of development: a thesis, giving rise to a reaction. A thesis is, just something that you put out there, a statement or a theory or something, that you throw out there. Then, it gives rise to what? A reaction from the people, right? An antithesis, which contradicts or negates the thesis. So you're setting both of these up. So you see how these devils could play both sides of the war, because they set out their theory, the people react to it, and you have something that contradicts or negates, what you set forth, right? And through this common mode of debate with these contradicting forces here, now you create what? And the tension between the two being resolved by means of a synthesis. Okay, so as I said, the thesis is the statement or the theory. The antithesis that they set up goes against the initial theory, and the back and forth between the two comes to what? A thesis. And a thesis, just because it's as apostles always say, it's important to look up words and to know these words. So that's why I want to just get into these so that this is better explained. All right. Synthesis is a combination or composition, in particular, the combination of ideas to form a theory or system. The production of chemical compounds by reaction from simpler materials. All right. So it's the system basically. It's a combination of what the thesis and the antithesis coming to a head and to form the conclusion basically. So and also with this Hegalian dialectic, what was also stated by this Edomite, George Hegel, was that the mind can't understand things without there being an opposite, basically. So there has to be two sides to the coin, basically. And what the scriptures support that. And this is how you know they truly did a diligent search, because what them studying the Bible, them studying the ways of the Most High, and they saw this, they understood it, and they put it in modern form, man. The Bible actually supports that, right? And I'll give an explanation to it, right? That's Sirach 33 and 15. I'll just pull a description in the last lesson because it's very important, right? To look at how Esau looks at things and to see how their evil ass mind works, right? Sirach 33 and 15. So look upon all the works of the Most High. So the Most High is telling us to look upon these things, right? And there are two and two, one against another. So what? We know we have good, bad, you have rain, you have sunshine. Boy, girl, there's always polar opposites. There's always polar opposites. And, the rapper 50 Cent said, joy wouldn't feel so good if it wasn't for pain. Sunshine wouldn't feel so good if it wasn't for rain. Roughly paraphrasing what he said. But this is how you know that we truly had to go through wickedness in order to understand righteousness, in order to appreciate righteousness. Because when we had it, we took it for granted. So we had to see the other side of the coin to be able to understand the balance between the two and choose what side to be on, man. So it all makes perfect sense. So the scriptures does support that theory. Why? Because he obviously got that from the scriptures, man. And seeing that by observing the creations of the Most High in everyday form. All right. But this is all the ways of these devils, man. Okay. So getting a little more into this. Where's that grid that I had? So this is one clear example here of the Hegelian dialectic, so you can actually see it. It says agenda, centralization of power, oligarchy. So what the elites trying to do, they're trying to have a centralization of power, or what? The New World Order. Okay? So this is their agenda. So how do they go about this? One thing is what they set up the thesis, the theory that they put out there, or something that they make happen. The terror event, faked or real. So sometimes they make fake things happen to put out there to see how people jump out, to see if people jump out the window. And sometimes they actually make real things happen to get things going, so they can really force the agenda. So from the thesis, now you have the antithesis, which goes against this, right? Is increasing police state. So because a so-called terror event happened, whether it's faked or real, now out of that, they get to create the police state. They increase it. Now from there, the antithesis, you get to the thesis, all right, which is your overall agenda anyway, okay, that you had in mind from the start, was the removal of freedom's transfer of power. And this is what they're looking to do with this whole New World Order. And we see these things taking shape right before our eyes. But we know that overall in the end, they're not going to fully set up their New World Order. The Most High is going to rain upon him while he's eating, as it gets into in the book of Job, man. But this is one clear example. And another clear example of how they're going to do with us out there preaching the word. The agenda, right, here will be, the agenda will be what of the, as we looked at the other sample, of the oligarchy, or Esau, right? The higher power, the elites. The agenda would be to shut down alternative media, all these other news outlets, that's foiling Esau's plans, that's bringing out the truth, when they're constantly trying to lie, through their media platforms and stuff like that. And most importantly, us, the Hebrew Israelites, okay? So their whole job is to shut down alternative media, you know what I'm saying, and to control it, as they've been doing, right? So for that, they put out, a thesis, a theory or a statement, and see how people react to it, which is what? Faking fake news to cause public outcry. Now, you do have a lot of people out there saying, oh, yeah, if it's on YouTube, oh, yeah, it got to be the truth. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that, making jokes all about news on the internet, because especially the older crowd or the older generations, they don't truly understand the way that things work. They just believe what they see on Channel 11, Channel 5, so on and so forth. So they put this whole thing out there about the fake news. They had the public outcry. Now, what do they have to do in reaction to that? They have to cause a counteraction, right? Which is online Big Brother censorship. So since there's all this fake news out there, we got to censor people's internet. We got to do this, we got to do that, we got to put more cameras, we got to do this, you know what I'm saying? All these different things that they got to do, which is more a control for them, And then what? The outcome, what I'm saying, once people talking about these two things, because remember, the antithesis has to go against the thesis. So it's like, okay, we put this out there. Now you have people debating about whether it's fake news, whether it's real news, or whether we need Big Brother or not. So they're debating about these two things, and to justify the means of all the people arguing about these two things, the government comes to what? Their thesis, okay? And which is removal of free speech on the web. And that will bring upon what? The famine of the word, okay? So, let me grab that real quick. So when you look at Amos 8:11, right, it says, behold, the days come, saith the Lord power, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord. And they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east. They shall run to and fro to seek the word of the Lord, and shall not find it. So how is the famine of the word going to come about? Through the Hegalian Dialectic, or otherwise known as problem, reaction, solution. Okay, so we see the clear examples. This is how Esau truly plans out his one world order, or his new world order, this one world government thing, man. So real quick, I want to grab this because they just think they setting everything up in a nice little trap, man. So this Psalms 35:7, it says, for without cause they have hid for me their net in a pit, which without cause they have digged for my soul. So they got us caught in the net. They got us caught in the pit, and the pit is nothing more than the system, man. And just looking up the word system real quick, what? A set of connected things or parts forming a complex whole, in particular, a set of principles or procedures according to which something is done in organized scheme or method. So this whole system, this whole government, which means mind control, is an organized scheme based upon the Hegalian Dialectic, problem, reaction, solution. This is how they truly intend to rule the world, man. And real quick, matter of fact, let me grab this real quick. This Psalms 49:11. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. So how do they believe as though that their houses shall continue forever? How do they believe that in their inward thought? Based upon their philosophies, based upon the wine that they're spewing, based upon this Hegelian dialectic, man. Esau truly thinks with this one philosophy that they have cornered the market on the whole world, and that this will continue to go on forever. They got to be kidding me, man. But this is Job 5:12. He disappointeth the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. So they're not going to be able to fully get out their whole new world order, man. You know, that enterprise. Let's see if there's anything on this. From an unused root, probably meaning to substantiate, support, or by implication, ability, direct help, an undertaking, understanding, enterprise, that thing which as it is. Yeah, not too much on it. Yeah, but that's the whole point, man. You know, they're not going to get this all done based upon these principles, because through everything, we know that truth reigns supreme, you know, in the midst of all the lies, man. So this devil has to be brought down. Righteousness can never properly be set in the earth if these devils are constantly winning, if they're constantly on top. We will always be at a great detriment here within the society, and never truly being able to obey the Heavenly Father and honor the Lord's name as He wants His name to be honored, man. You know, and how He wants His name to be glorified, man. You know, so I just wanted to bring this out. You know, like I said, I just hope this segment was edifying. You know, just quick recap. You know, the Hegalian Dialectic comes from this Edomite here, George Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel. You know, and the whole thing about it is pretty much problem, reaction, solution, setting up a thesis, you know, giving rise to a reaction, an antithesis, which contradicts the thesis, and that by coming to a synthesis, you know, from the argument of the thesis and the antithesis, and the government comes out, you know, with the solution for the whole problem that they set up in the first place, man. And just showing that this is how they rule the world now as we know it, man, you know. You know, with that, you know, I hope this segment is edifying. I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Ba'ashem YAHAWASHI, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash, the Bawanas to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalawam to Lek out there doing this work of faith and labor of love, true sincerity. Shalawam.